Hey guys, Jake here. We're at Pear Tree Ranch and we're back with Nobella. So, Nobella was here on what day? Thursday? Friday? Excuse you. Excuse you. Look out. Thank you. Late last week, and we kind of got through a good session of working on burpees and groundwork and hunting for what was the problem that was causing this horse to have bucking, rearing, disgruntled behavior in the riding. And there was a lot that was working, and we spent most of the time. The training where we started to make some progress was in the burpee, and so they're back for round 2. It is Wednesday, so it's not been that long, and the goal is to ride today so I can start to look at sharing for them and hunting for that stuck spot, which to me is going to be at the girth and the ribs, and really working on our inside leg to our outside rein, making sure we're doing one rein and one leg at a time. Okay, so that's where we've been and where we're going. So all we've done is come in the round pen and get saddled, and we yickety-yacked about the horse, making sure we're choosing to stand still for things like saddling, mounting, fly spraying. Some of that stuff, in my experience with English performance horses, can just get let go. They mount these horses at a gallop, and that's not good behaviors. We need to make sure that we're sticking to all that stuff. So I kind of use the example like my mother said to me as a child: if everybody else jumps off a bridge, are you going to do it too? Just because everybody else that we see at the eventing shows jumping on as they're already galloping off, we don't want to do that because that sets us up. Okay, and again, it's dangerous to do generalization. I'm very aware of that. Just making sure that with the little stuff that I see, don't push on my bubble here, that we want to make sure we're looking at the training fixes as a whole. Sounds like we haven't had a Western saddle on that we know of, so we're not going to be surprised if we have a little bit of bother about the back cinch and the extra stuff, but the horse is ridden in an equiband system, which puts a lot of extra feel and touching in different places. So we don't want to make them buck, but sometimes if a horse hasn't been exposed to these things, we can see that. And all I'm looking for is that the horse can start to kind of warm up here. See, we're kind of pushing in on the circle. We're looking to the outside and pushing in. And so I'm putting a vertical plane like that, push on the inside at the girth to say, hey, slide out, scooch out, right? The horse was running into me. I had to bump random accident dance move, get off of me. The horse didn't do it that hard, so I didn't have to do my dance moves that hard to match. Okay, horse trainer math. The horse was only doing a 1 or a 2, so I needed only do a 2 or a 3 units of pressure to kind of get to a yield. I like that we're stretching into the forward. Cluck, and then I'm gonna get your back. I like that big release with the mouth and the tongue. It wasn't just a little lick and chew, that was like a big, you can hear that suction break, and that's a kind of clear change. And you'll start to see stuff like that come through the more yielding and relaxation we get with the nose. So cluck cluck is canter for me, and then the spank is you could have cantered. And I'll just keep turning up that heat. So that's more cantering. So then I brought my energy off and went, thank you. There was effort to get cantering and consider staying cantering. That was the change. The horse showed me where it was at. I said, could you canter? Then you should have cantered. That was the spank on the butt. And we had 2 or 3 strides. Cool. And we kind of played from there. And so the change that we acknowledged was the horse offered being ready to do more cantering. It's the horse choosing more forward versus me managing the forward with doing just more with the stick, holding the horse at the canter.
Sorry to interrupt your video, but really quick, we want to make sure that you know all the juicy content, step-by-step how-to training guides, that's over on Patreon. So if you want, there's a 4-part trailer loading video series, that's on Patreon. You want the 7-part lead chain series, that's on Patreon. So get over there, get signed up, join us there, and let's get back to this video.
Good. Okay, we took the outside lead. So we got the canter, and then I asked, hey, keep cantering, or maybe a little more cantering to see how did we respond to that. Oh, okay. And we just got ahead more, which is good. So again, that's progress. To the right, we asked, could you get the canter? The answer was yes. Took the stick to get it, but the answer wasn't no. And we played till the horse chose more canter, and then this way the horse was wasn't as far as we did to the right, but the horse was choosing a little more canter, and so I said, good, and more. Good, we're content, we have connection, we got 2 eyes, 2 ears, head down, relaxed. Hi, baby. Good kid. Now, nobody said go anywhere. Hi. So I came to check the cinch, and we walked off. I just said no thank you, shook the rope. Nobody said go anywhere. And then we got the picture figured out. Nobody said go anywhere. Now I like on those, I'm putting a downward bump. That puts a bump here. The nose is tucking and starting, yeah, like that, drawing back. Okay, so we like what we're seeing with that. So I like the feet more ready to move, but I also don't want to teach this horse to rush or hurry. Okay, hurry rhymes with worry. It's a little different. Okay, now the first session we had no saddle horn, so I can't put any oomph into it. We had to really teach the horse to be sensitive and understand not only the yield, but the pattern that we were creating. We did 2 things, a pattern, thank you for being ready. I saw you, thank you. Let me get everything in position. Wait for me, we'll do it together. 3, 2, 1, take a deep breath. Right, that's how we keep from training hurry or worry. And then go. A little different, okay? And so the question in the first session was, does it normally take this long? In reality, it wasn't that long. Remember, we checked the clock and it was like 54 minutes or whatever it was for the whole entirety that the camera was turned on. It really wasn't a long session. And it was clearly a good session because now we're to the burpees. It's just, I know what to do, yes sir, and kind of happy to do it. And if anything, I'm having to go, hold on a second, let me get everything organized. Because I know what to do, I'm ready, which is good. So now here, I'm pushing back and saying, hey, nobody said walk off. 3, 2, 1, take a deep breath. Make sure we have those moments of quiet so that we don't teach them to rush. So now the nose is poked out there into that halter, but the feet were fluid in there. Okay. So if I'm picking on what do I want to do, if I'm choosing, let's use the word choosing versus picking, I'm not going to pick on that thing right there and go, hey, are you poking your nose out? I'm going to go, yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, that was way better than where we were. We'll just do reps and we'll kind of work on that softness maybe next time. Okay, next time might be right now, next time might be next session. but not in that moment. I wasn't going to pick on it. And it had all the things telling us, like, see, that is telling us that we're going to poke our nose into that. Because we're walking off and pushing forward with our nose, it's telling us what's going to happen. So by taking a little bit of time here and going, hey, let's maybe be better at tucking our chin and backing up. Okay, that sets the stage to maybe have a better yield here. That way, if I want to go bump, 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 to kind of bump on that nose, I have that opportunity. Okay? All right, so other than this bit of walking off and being a little pushy with the shoulders, that's a lot better progress from where we kind of started. Okay? And so I could do some things working on herding that nose. See, the herding is working better than the steady pressure. That's pretty typical. Naturally, horses are herd animals, so herding energy works better. They're not born with ropes on them to get pulled around. So that pressure is usually the harder one for them to get with. Okay, I could do some work on, I'll hold the halter and twist it. And my knuckles here can push on the side of the nose if they get to pushing against me. And when that twist comes, see, it can elicit that feeling of being a bit trapped and squeezed, so it can bother them at first. And so I want to know, where is that at? Or are they going to start to find a way that as that pressure comes on and builds, there's better, as the horse going to get with the program here and go with the flow. So that as my pinky pushes that down and into the front of the nose, there's better, there's better, there's better. So that was kind of 3 good ones in a row versus it was a good one, a crappy one, a good one, a crappy one. Again, we got to keep count on that stuff. So then after a little break, it was right to a good one, and we had nose, nose, neck, shoulder, shoulder, ribs, and hip. Okay? So we can see how those pieces start to line up. We talked about in the first session the idea of having a sound effect or a timing thing that we know is consistent. So we used the sound from the Disney movie da-da-da-da-da on that burpee. I can have that same idea, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, that there's a progression to this flow and pressure, and it's got to come on in a timely manner. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it builds. Turn up the volume dial versus punch the button. We don't want to be punchy, we want it to be smooth, and you can do that with a volume dial. Turn it up smooth, same with this. Okay. All right, let's grab the snaffle with the split reins, please. So I'm not seeing anything that's making me worry about sitting on this horse. That was so much better now, just a soft little, okay, could you scooch back so I can see the camera? Oh, thank you, you're a great helper. Okay, so we're just riding in a simple 2-piece snaffle. If a horse has been pokey or tough, I'm going to pick that versus the 3-piece. The 2-piece can have some scissor down. It can create a little more pressure versus the 3-piece cannot. Okay, so when I'm starting a horse, I might choose that to train confidence first. We need more yielding for this horse, so I'm going to pick this 2-piece. Now we're not really trying to focus on crank this horse in with 2 hands. We're going to be focusing on 1 rein at a time, which really is how you ought to be riding in a snaffle. 1 rein at a time. But just knowing that the bit can work in that way, that 2-piece snaffle actually can be one of the harsher bits on a horse's mouth. You just need to have the awareness of those things and how they work. That helps us choose to use them more appropriately, versus there can be misconceptions out there and people are like, oh, the snaffle bit is so amazing. I'm going to be just like a natural horseman. And they're being misled or miseducated about how that stuff works. Okay, can you come get me, please? So when I start working on this, I already should have some yielding working off of my sticks, and I'm going to send the horse towards the fence. Notice, we didn't get that close to the fence yet, but it was, I shushed the flag, the horse did move. So I'm going to go, thank you. Now we're starting to creep up here. So I'm going to go, isn't that cool? And could you just lead straight underneath this? Now I'm going to hold this here. I'm not going to push this over the horse's head. I'm going to invite the horse to choose to step underneath it. See, we're tossing our head and being worried about that. See how the horse put its head underneath it right there? Look when I put this down. Okay, the flag never moved positions, but now all of a sudden the horse's head is under it. That's the horse choosing to be there. It gave me permission to pet the neck with the flag behind the ears, versus if I would have rushed this and pushed it, the horse was telling me, I'm going to toss my head and be bothered. Okay, and we saw that by the horse just fussing about it in front of the nose. There. And so now our work from last time, getting the head to go down from the flag, is being helpful. We're just taking this time to sit here and yickety yak helps this horse find some good comfort. Okay, so we don't love how that lead is, but it was functional. Okay, it just wasn't pretty. So we just go, cool, take notes. Okay, let the horse be curious about me. And again, because I haven't ridden this horse, I'm going to listen to the horse tell me about how do you feel. Just like I listened to the horse, how did it feel about getting saddled? Well, at first the horse was like, I don't know if I want you to put that pad on me. Okay, kind of blocking me, putting its nose in the way instead of just letting me step by. Instead of like, here, you want to put that thing on me? So we want to listen to that stuff and not just say, well, frickin' do it because I said so, don't you know? We're filming YouTube videos here. You got to be good and make me look good. No, we're going to listen and go, oh, well, thanks for sharing how you feel. Okay, now could you step forward? Now, the answer was yes, we stepped forward, but see, we turned our hip away. So now I'm going to go, hey, there's hot lava over here. And then I'll invite the horse to step up here close again. And that time was even closer. And then we got a little lick and chew. Okay? And so this is a leading. Can you lead straight up? Oh, wow, look at you. Scooch closer. You're so thoughtful. Thank you. Okay? And as soon as the stick's not there, we're like, I think I'm going to move my butt. That's fine. You can move your butt, but that means I get to spank it. That means I get to spank it. There's a change. Head down, a little deeper breath. Okay, so can you help me get ready? Now, as soon as I start moving, fine, I guess you can get closer by me. I'm not jumping on you in motion. Thank you. Pressure comes on. There's pressure on that right side. There's comfort over here on the left. There. Let me get in position here. Oh, taking my right leg and rubbing down the flank. Rub at the shoulder. Rub that stirrup. Rub over the butt. I'm on the fence. So even if this horse goes that way, I'm here. So I don't overcommit. Okay? And I like teaching all my horses to mount like that. 1, it's good for them. 2, good for me, especially when they're big. So now, I'm gonna put some pressure there and go, hey, you ran your face into that because you walked off. There's better. So we got a little more thoughtful, like, oh, that sucked a little bit. I didn't do it rough, but it wasn't as slow and easy as it could have been. Well, again, that's only like a 2-3. It really isn't a horse walking off hard here, but we need to kind of run into a set hand. And notice I've got my hands pressed down to my thighs here, okay? And so that way the horse into it, my hands are set, fixed, okay? You gotta be really good at planks, okay? So if you take your hands out and you go like this and you put your fists on the ground, if you bend your elbows, you fall on your face. So that's how we know, is our hands fixed and out here, and is the horse working within that space, or are we pulling, my back hollowed, my elbows bent, my biceps engaged, I pulled on that horse. Pulling muscle, pushing muscle, pushing muscle, pulling muscle, okay? To work on your back, we do pull-ups. Work on our chest, our shoulder, and our triceps, we do push-ups. I'm pushing my hands and letting the horse run itself into that. Okay, and my hands are pushing there down. And then we're running ourselves into that. Okay, my hands are fixed, not pulling. There. So the horse is having to find the boundary and figure out where's the comfort. Just like with that mounting. Yes, you can push your hip over there, but you're going to run into the flag. Yes, you can push your face up into the air like that, but you're going to run into that bit. I'll take my thumbs and I'll hook it on the front of the saddle. That way I know I've fixed my position. So I'm not pulling till that horse finds the middle. The horse is in charge of its own release. So I just let the horse work. It's training itself now. There. That was a big release. Oh, weird. That is so weird. Now, things people say, oh my God, the horse has overflexion. It's behind the vertical. Oh God. And we have meltdown, okay? Just things I've experienced people have a hard time with. And I'm not saying that's not true or untrue. We're not worrying about that stuff now. We're doing foundation training. The horse has to learn to not ram its face into that and to start to fit in a box. So does the horse choose that? It can. I'm not trying to train that. I'm mostly right now to help this horse not rear and sunfish and do scary, inappropriate behaviors, dangerous behaviors. Fit softly in the reins. There. And so we're finding release down and forward. Okay, bucking, rearing, all comes from not quality, thoughtful forward. And quality, thoughtful forward starts in the nose, then goes through the neck, then into the shoulder, then into the ribs, and then the hip follows. Starts. Eventually then, we can ride the hind leg forward. Doesn't start there, in my experience. Again, we've only fixed the yuckiest of the yucky, so what do I know? There we go. There we go. Not worrying about what the feet are doing right now. I'm just having a conversation with the nose and the neck. The mind leads to the flexion, which will then lead to the weight, which will lead to the feet. The path to the feet is through the mind, in my experience. That's how we get thoughtfulness with the feet. There we go. Now, the horse chose, in my opinion, for us to work on that by walking off and doing that. That wouldn't have been my pick, but because that's kind of already there, it's like, fine, you want to work on that? Let's work on that. That's how I chose to work at that. I didn't have to. I could have just walked off and worked on some other things. But in my experience, the horse already has a lot working. I'd rather start to set that boundary and go, we don't do that behavior. We don't walk off. We don't root our nose. We don't pull with our head. We don't fuss. I say the same thing to my kid. Hey, it's time to brush your teeth. Oh my game, I'm playing my iPad. Did you say spank my butt? Is that? I think I heard you said spank me. Daddy, stop it. Huh? Well, yes, sir, was a good answer. Okay. Simple request. Let's go brush your teeth. So now as I get ready, the horse is getting ready. Good. Okay, going and woeing from a standstill. That should be what happens. So we had to establish the standstill. Now, can you go? In the beginning, we want to lead the feet off. So nose, neck, shoulder, ribs, and hip. Okay? We had forward motion. I know it was forward because the right front stepped forward and around the left front. Nose, neck, shoulder, ribs, and hip. So we're going to lead the feet off. That's the easiest way to get a little relaxation and forward. This is first ride stuff. Okay, this is colt starting 101. This is the kind of stuff we taught Tick Maynard to go win and rode to the horse twice. So we need to be able to lead the horse off and have the horse choose forward. Release the horse to forward, not pressure them to forward. So I release the pressure and then the horse is walking forward. That's how I can tell I've released them to forward. Nose, neck, thank you. Thank you. Here we go. I'm clucking to just kind of confirm, yeah, I do mean forward. I don't want to go to the legs yet. I want to release to some forward. That's how I know the horse isn't ready for forward, if we can't just kind of lead him and walk off. There. Now, I'll increase the timeliness and the frequency that I'm back to the leading pressure. See, I kind of got ready to lead and the horse was like, I think I'm going to walk. But see, right now, there's pressure at the standstill. Before there was pressure when we got moving. Now we changed the game. There's pressure at a standstill till you start choosing to walk. And this is about the horse learning to read where's comfort. Well, comfort wasn't at the walk because the horse took over. Now, comfort's at the walk because the horse is taking over the standstill. The horse just keeps taking over instead of following the leader. So if I get my legs into this horse when we're stuck like this, that's what leads to bucking and rearing and all that stuff. So it's a kind of a tell already. That's a change. See, we're getting more thoughtful with our neck about forward, and we're not just whipping the hip around. You can see that the hip is just whipping side to side. You see how it's bending me here. Nose, neck, shoulder. Nose, neck, shoulder. See, we're starting to lead off a little bit straighter. Yeah, thank you. So, do you want to get off on the fence? I saw that you thought that. That was very nice of you. I appreciate that offer. So our mind is somewhat elsewhere. We're worrying about what's in the trees over there, what's, going on. So I'm just going to continue to increase my frequency of my leading till I can get these front feet to lead in better timing with me. See how long it took there, finally, the left front foot? That took a long time. There's the right front. There's the right front. See, that's timelier. Left front, right front. Left front, right front. Right front, left front. Right front, left front. Right, okay? So I want to lead nose, neck, shoulder off, and then until the ribs and hips start to follow. And it won't take so much. That's the kind of sound effect that feels like. That's what that sounds like on my insides. To me, that's how I'm reading that. There's a change. Now it's walking back to the middle. But see, as I got ready, we're considering walking on. Now, notice, I can see the dirt here. We haven't made it past that arc to walk that direction. Okay? I'm not going to force the horse past that point, but I'm going to keep leading and releasing. There's the outside shoulder in the direction of the rail over there. You got to release the outside shoulder to choose the forward. See how the outside shoulder sucked back, stepped underneath? Okay. There's the left front, released forward and over there. I released before the right front ever went, and it sucked back. It didn't step forward into this space over here. See how it's sucking back? It still hasn't crossed the line. I can see the dirt. There it was. There's the left front. So forward, the release comes on the outside shoulder there. I know. You need to choose. I'm not going to make. You choose. Look, here's the line. We still haven't crossed that same line. There. That's almost across the line with that left front foot. There, that right front got forward. There it got forward. That's almost across the line. And now the nose and neck went. There, that's across the line with that left front. There, that's across the line with the right front. There we go. There we go. Oh, weird. So now I'd sit still longer and quieter to allow the horse time to be like, oh, comfort across the line over here. Horse needs to go find the green mark on the fence on the rail and go check that out. There's pressure to the right, there's pressure to the left. Pressure to the right, there's pressure to the left. So it's not right or left. And there's pressure back there. Your head's in the air, the rein's going to be in the air. Nose wants to go down, I'll let the rein go down. There. Leading rein, thank you. Leading rein start. There. There's pressure right now at the standstill. Thank you. The mind got forward. Neighbors outside calling for a horse or a dog. Hi, neighbors. Actually watch us on YouTube. The dad comes over and goes, my daughter watches you on TV all the time. Their horse is actually here in training. Little Lucy. Okay, now we have some forward again. We're kind of shaking it off. Now the cluck is almost meaning forward. So now that we've started to cover almost all of the round pen a little bit there, and the leading rein is starting to get us some forward, and the horse is considering taking us, I could amplify that. And I could do a little spanky spank. Hey, a little more of what you're doing. But that's the most forward we've had yet. A little more of what you're doing. Okay, this is herding pressure here versus this is steady leading pressure here. Okay, we've already seen where that is lacking. See how we're sucking back? I got to get the mind back to forward. There's a forward step before I spank. Okay, we got to learn to see that. So I didn't go to the spank till I had forward steps, and then I amplified what I already had with the gas pedal or the stick. Thank you. Yeah, it was so thoughtful. So we still don't have some free forward. Now we're cooking. Now, nobody said come off the rail. So I'm going to release the horse back to the rail. There's forward steps. And yes, more please. I had to have something to say more. Can't say more when I didn't have any forward. So I had to be patient till I had that forward kind of starting to unlock at least a little bit more. Now, there's pressure in here. There's release out there. Oh, can't be spanking when the feet are stuck. There. Won't be spanking when the feet are stuck. That's where you can find that up and down. You spank and then they go up and down. Don't tell me to go. I said I couldn't go. Because the mind didn't go forward first. It's easy to want to do that, and I could probably do it and get it unstuck. But there's a balance here to what I'm confident I can do and what I'm teaching people to learn to see and make good, healthy choices. Okay, there's pressure in there. There's quiet out there. Horse kind of took over the gas pedal a little bit in a positive way. Didn't run off, but just kind of offered me some forward. So now that we're offering some forward, I'm going to switch gears to tipping the nose and the neck. Okay? And I'm pretty quick going to start getting this leg busy in the ribs because we're quite stuck there. I can feel it. Okay? So I'm going to get back to forward. Go. I'm going to tip the nose and neck to the right, and I'm helping soften that with my spur in the ribs. There, see that? I wasn't touching the rein, that's so weird, but the nose came down over there. Huh, how'd that happen? Because I tickle, there, and forward. The spur can help draw the nose, and the tickle in the ribs helps them bend in their body. There. Now, the nose is going there because I don't like that. Why are you doing that to me? I don't like that. That's fine. You don't have to like that. That's the point. But I'm not letting you live your life like this. Okay? Oh, you can live your life like that. That's a good pony. You brace in your ribs, you brace with your head, and you fuss. I'm going to tickle your belly. Okay? Right? Just like I teased about my kid. He never got beaten his whole life. Oh, spank his little baby butt. He doesn't like it. Oh, let me pinch your butt. Let me pinch you. Dad, stop it. Guess what? He gets up and he does the thing I asked him to do. Okay? So there's a game of discomfort, doing the less desirable behavior there, and comfort, doing the desirable behavior. You act like that, I won't tickle your belly with my spurs, and I won't fuss with the reins. So we're tipping the nose and the neck, and I'm using inside leg and inside rein. There. So bend it to the right there, and then tickle with the spur there. And this inside is driving the horse out. Now, to help, I'm gonna at times do a little rhythm here. Bump, bump, bump. Hey, hey, hey. That's kind of what that's saying. To go, pay a little more attention. I don't like having to stick that in there on you. And you can, the horse is holding its breath there. When I went bump, bump, bump. Bump, bump. Okay, and so if they're sitting there flinching and doing the they're holding that brace, and that's what we're looking for, is to get that out. And you don't get it out by feeding them cookies and doing nothing. You've got to do some form of discomfort. Discomfort causes change. Comfort will amplify that choice. There. So leaving the horse alone now that we got soft will start to amplify that. I don't have to do a cookie there. You could eventually, but my experience, all the best horses I've been around didn't need a bunch of cookies to behave. So I'm going bump, bump, bump. Now, I personally ride in very dull spurs so that I can do that bumping and not have that be so uncomfortable. I want them to learn a bit of rhythm with that leg. Okay? Just because there's plenty of people that do that. Now we're starting to get somewhere. When I'm starting to touch that, even with the rein tight against the neck here, we're starting to drop that head. There is a hair of a feel to the outside rein, but I'm not really focusing on that and trying to use that. We're going to talk about the outside rein in a moment. But I got to get this inside leg and inside rein working to where we don't have to just uncork ourselves with that hindquarters whipping all around, and we can start to have a bit of forward drive. See, without throwing that shoulder in there. 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 So we started with tipping the nose and the neck. Okay. And we've moved on a little bit to a little leg yield. There. Pushing the horse to the outside. That little bit of leg yield prepares the horse for a quality turn. If I can push the horse out here to the left, I just made room to be able to turn in here. I don't know, say I was going to turn into a new farm's gate, and I had a really big long trailer, not mentioning any names, okay? Go really wide out and around so you can get straight in that hole so we don't muck out the gate, right? We got to go out and around. So I'm going to take the horse out there to get around and be able to come straight through the middle, okay? We're teasing because she has a really big long trailer, and first time she pulled in here, she didn't go wide because people are thoughtful and not trying to go on the grass. They're being thoughtful, we know that. But to make it in the gate, which is a plenty wide gate, you got to go wide. If you just follow the dirt or where the cars go, you're going to put the trailer in the fence. There. So now we're trying to get out and around to work on the other side. But I got to get forward back. Go, 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 go. Thank you. Make sure there's release after the forward before I start fussing with the reins. Otherwise, I'm just going to shut the feet down even worse. I'm working on tip. There's a little tip of the nose and the neck. Right here, I'm touching the outside rein a little bit to just not let the horse dive to the inside. And then you can't see it in the camera, but you could see the little flinch. Now you should be able to see my left leg is going bump, bump. Hey, hey, excuse you. Left leg, come off it, please. There it changed. The ears didn't change quite enough, so I might stay back in it till we figure that out. This is your spot. You don't have any yielding off of the leg. This, move over. Move over. Move. 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 You need to move, child. Move. There we go. So I use the reins to leading rein start, get back to my forward, and then PS. Bump, bump here. Notice this left hand fixed here at the horn, so I'm not pulling with it because I've activated that right hand to help the left leg step out. Inside leg to outside rein. Look out! So my timing, right when that leg kicked, bumped on that left side, and it unstuck that leg when it kicked. If your timing's too late, then it turns into punishment. If your timing is just when it happens, they kind of did it to themselves, and they go, well, I don't know how I just bumped into that, but that was less fun. There. That's that brace hiding in the shoulder ribs area. It's that transition in the girth. But notice it changed, and now we freed up. There, see, it was better. Bump, bump. And we were ready to soften our nose off of that left rein. Now, again, I had to fix my left rein at the horn here so I could use that right rein to support what that left leg is saying about stop diving in there, please. There's pressure in here. There's pressure in here, child. Thank you for thinking about out here. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. L-E-T-S-G-O. Let's go. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, shake it off. There. It wasn't so hard, was it? All that fuss for that simple little bloop. One little step. No, thank you. There. Thank you very much. You're a good kid. See, we thought life was hard, and we thought moving off of the leg was going to be this big, torturous thing. And it's like, I asked you to just scooch over that little bit. Your life really is quite easy. There we are. Notice my left hand is fixed on the horn to keep it from pulling. That's a fixed rein, so I'm only activating one at a time. My right hand is out here, leading the shoulders to step out and supporting what the leg is doing. There. I won't need that as we get a little bit softer on that inside rein there. See, when I can lift and hold that against the neck, and the horse feels that as a block to the shoulders. But we're not feeling that yet, so I'm having to go to that outside to start to say, hey, you know you could move off of that. Pretty quick when I stand this up here and put there like that, I needed less outside rein to help. It's just telling on we've overused the outside rein and been reliant on it to manage versus the horse understanding the inside leg and inside rein, which is where everything really ought to start. There. So we just got out of sequence. There, no big deal. We just sort it back out. There we are. And that cluck drew me into some trot work. Aha! So now tipping the nose and the neck at a trot. There. Just little blips of flexion. Bloop. 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 Thank you. That was so thoughtful of you. Who's a good kid you are. There you are. There. Now I'm going to release on the outside. Allow the horse to turn. But there's pressure in the middle. So if I were you, I might get back to the trot. So we can have some relief at some forward. There. And then I'll just do a little bit of tipping the nose and neck here at the trot. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Trot much. There you are. Better. And you can see the outside rein is loose. I'm just got the right rein, the inside pushed at the neck, And my right leg is helping to, there, ride out here. Now relax that right leg to stop riding her out, to release in, change the flexion. Now we're starting to get some little trotty figure eights. Going and woeing, tipping the nose and the neck, serpentines. That's where we've gotten to. Release the turn. And then change. I know, but you need forward. There's this new song, that-a-way. This new song on the new Hardy album. It says, y'all need Jesus and a Willie Nelson song, okay? And he talks about all these people on the internet running their mouth about him and how he got where he's going. There's some people in the comments that need some Jesus and a Willie Nelson song. Sometimes, just like this horse, y'all need forward and some bending in your nose and neck, okay? There we go. Just some forward and you're bending in the nose and neck. Simple deal. To where forward and bending, well, you pushed your ribs promptly on in there, and there's hot lava in there. There. So if you want me to be quiet, don't push your ribs in the middle of my round pen, please. Oh! We got a big old tooty toot. You can poop and trot. You can poop and trot. There we are. Look out. Stick your ribs in there, I might bump them. There you are. I'm just doing little blips. Bloop. Bloop. Little bloops. Bloop. Not holding it. There. Just getting it. There. Just getting it. Now I'll release. Just soften the right leg. But here comes the left. You weren't ready. I know. You weren't ready. You got to get ready. Get swoopy in your ribs. So now we've moved from nose, neck, shoulder, and the ribs and hip are following, to here I'm saying, hey, get your ribs ready. In the middle. Get your ribs ready to change. That's how we get them swoopy. There, and here comes the left leg. You got ready! Oh my! You are so smart. Release. Here comes the right leg. Oh, thank you. You got ready. Oh, you are so good. That's a couple of great ones in a row. Oh, I would just go, man, that's a lot of progress. Y'all need forward and some bending in your nose and neck. There you go. There we go. There we go. But we didn't release forward and down yet, so I'll just keep setting it up. There we go. To release to head down and relaxed. There we go. There we go. You're a good kid. So what did we find? We found we didn't have any forward. We couldn't just lead the horse off and release to forward. We were going to have to pressure to forward, and I wasn't going to do that. So we played until I could release to forward, and then we said, and more. Okay? To have enough life that we could start messing with tipping the nose and the neck. There, like that's tipping the nose and the neck. Shoo-wee. We can tip the nose and neck forwards, backwards, right, left, up, and down. That's left and up. There's left, left, and up. Like that. There's left and up. There. Okay? There's forward and down. We could tip the nose and neck. Yeah, that's left, back and up. There, back and up, back and up. That's just the nose and neck tipping back and up. Okay, we could tip the nose and neck right. I know it's not easy for you to see on the camera, but when the chin comes there to the shoulder, that would be up. So right and up. Come. Giddy up. There, so we did tipping the nose and the neck at the walk and the trot. And then we worked on some leg yields, riding the horse to the outside. That prepped up so we had room to release them to turn. That led us to some serpentines. And then once that got where it wasn't too difficult, we started bringing in the leg in the change of direction to swoop the ribs. So we did nose, neck, shoulder, ribs. We didn't really fuss a lot with the hip today, but it was following, and we had some walk and trot. There, we got much quieter and softer about the face. We got where we weren't bracing against the leg and the spur to allow us to use those aids to create some left and right shaping in the ribs, as well as a little bit of a leg yield, pushing the inside leg to the outside rein for some leg yields to make room for quality turns versus the horse pushing through the inside leg with the shoulder and ribs, being like a bulldozer. That's everything we did. And all the work from last time was there. Again, there was already some good groundwork. We worked on the burpees, and that was kind of the big change in the first session. And that burpee, again, is going to set up that flexion. And I talked about it. We still saw the nose poking out. So it's like we knew that was going to be a spot. Okay, the horse told us. All right, any questions? What'd you learn?
Yeah, that was great.
She said that was great.
I've never considered that, like, the holding the breath as like a way to just like brace against the aids as much.
Yep. Think of dumb, teenage boys. We're gonna punch each other and see who gives up first. And they go, they brace into it, and oh yeah, I can take that. That sound is made from holding the breath and taking that, bracing into it. Okay. That's how you're gonna get a bruise on your arm. There's a whole martial arts that comes out of Russia called Sistema. And these guys do this crazy stuff where it's like they stand there and punch each other in the stomach, but instead of just going, they go, and it's like they take the energy and redirect it, and they do all this work with their, core muscles and how do they go with the flow. And when you learn to go with the flow to do any kind of martial arts like jiu-jitsu or judo, arm lock, Steven Seagal, Aikido type stuff, you have to brace against that for it to work. Those guys, they are just redirecting the energy and the flow and putting it somewhere else. And so when this leg comes, it just should redirect through the horse and come all the way around. So we're teaching them to go with the flow instead of sit there and brace, go against it. It's like, go with that. Good. Anything else that you learned or questions?
Would you just keep working on this until this is like
Oh yeah.
smooth as
This is like first 5 ride stuff.
Yeah, I think this is why like I haven't really wanted to riders because like nothing really like aids don't mean anything to it.
Aids don't mean, she said, I haven't wanted to ride this horse because aids don't mean anything. And that's the problem, okay? And so we don't have communication. We have an upset horse. Don't do that to me. I don't like that. Like that's the sound I hear in my head when I'm trying to have that conversation instead of, hey baby, you want to do this thing? Ooh, yeah, that'd be nice. Like that sure would, that's a much better soundtrack to how I want my relationship to be, with these horses. Is, hey, you want to do this thing? Oh, that would be awesome. What a great idea. Okay, and so we got to, 1, learn to pick things that feel good to them, but then 2, have the things that they maybe would rather not still feel like a good idea. And that means, sometimes their ideas need to not be so fun. Okay, that's the discomfort part. But then really taking the time to have things be done in little baby steps so it never is too big of a chunk. That's why we went right back to the beginning to check all the little boxes. And we can do that by doing body parts one at a time, directions one at a time. When I said going and whoaing, that's just forwards and backwards. Can you go? Can you whoa? Well, we had way too much whoa, not enough go. Then tipping the nose and the neck. That's just the beginnings of rights and lefts with only the nose and the neck. Quit worrying about the feet. Okay, then preparing for serpentines. That's getting into shoulder and ribs. Then actually turning. That's all 5 body parts going forward and to the right or left. Okay, and so it's being very sequential about little parts at a time. And when you learn to do that, you can get a lot done quite quickly. Again, this is all the little stuff that we use to help guys like Tick go win Road to the Horse twice. Okay, and that's when you know that, you can go quite quickly, you know, with your training stuff. And if you oops it just takes longer. So we're paying a bit of a fine because the horse got a little grumpy about some of these things, and it happens. We all do it. I'm not perfect. I'll upset a horse or somebody. They said something in the way that, you know, wasn't perfect, and you just go, oh, that has upset you. Let's make that better. Okay? Especially when it's said in a nice way. Like the horse didn't ever really threaten to do anything horrible. He's like, hey, I don't like that. I'm like, I hear that you don't like that, but I need you to maybe make a better life choice. Okay? That's not your business. That's not your business over there. Yeah. Okay. Well, we had good progress. We're far from done. It doesn't, you know, contrary to common beliefs, you don't magically in 20 minutes with some hindquarter yields fix things on the internet. You've really got to put a lot of time and hours in and go through the whole process of getting all 5 body parts going in all 8 directions at 5 different speeds: walk, trot, canter, gallop, and back up. And that takes a lot of time and energy and an effort. So there's a lot that's working with this horse, but there's still plenty more that needs to continue on. And so that's going to take time and patience. And so we'll make a long-term plan for them. And maybe we'll get to see this horse again so we can see the progress. But, you know, in 2 little sessions, we've made good headway at helping this horse, you know, feel better and have some functionality. Okay. Says, there's something hiding in them trees. I said, no, it's a gray horse eating some leaves. You're good. There you go. Again, that's fine. You can pick all that stuff. We're just going to do discomfort while we're doing that, comfort while we're doing that, and play as long as the horse needs it. They're in charge of how long they want to be uncomfortable. I don't take that stuff personally. That's up to them. That's how they learn to release themselves to comfort. Good. And I'm always going to take that time. We're not rushing off just because we're trying to shut the video off. There. This is real life. This is real life. Hey, hey. Well, don't throw yourself into that stuff. One leg, one rein at a time. You can put your hip over there, but I'm going to bump you. You can put your nose up there, but I'm going to get a hold of you. Here's where I want you to be. Good. I'm Jake. This is Nobella. We're at Pear Tree Ranch. Shh, shh, shh. And we'll see you next time.